Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Cripped Podcast. Today we are joined by Emily Gamble, who is a retired Canadian military veteran serving with the Armored Dragoons. She tells her story of how a simple pickleball accident left her over a year in recovery with a broken back. So without further ado, let's get to it.
Welcome to the Cripped Podcast, where we explore serious and often life-altering injuries, long-term recoveries, and the inspirational people who refuse to give up. Starring Cranbrook local, your host, Darcy Allen.
We'll just start rolling into things. Emily,
Hi there.
welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you. So we'll start things off, kind of get to know you a little bit. Tell us about yourself.
Oh man, I don't know how to even introduce myself anymore. It's most of the time. So my name is Emily. I used to be in the Canadian Forces. I spent about 11 years in the regular force as well as the primary reserve. And primarily I was armored reconnaissance or armored crewman, which is a trade that deals mostly with light armored vehicles, tanks if you're in other units, and mobile firing platforms.
So what was that? What was that experience like in the military? You said over 10 years?
Over 10 years, yeah. It makes me feel old when I think about it, especially when I think about where my life would be if I had stayed in. I would have like over, 17 years of service at this point if I were to still have been in, but that's a long time.
Yeah. Were you where were you deployed to if you were deployed?
Luckily, I actually was not deployed outside Canada. There was a very big part of my career where I was very upset about that. I was very much wanting to go to Afghanistan.
You wanted to go see some combat.
I wanted to see combat, but more on the side of like, I wanted to do my part to bring people home.
Right.
A lot of people may have like gone like, oh, I really want to go over there. I really want to test my mettle. I want to see what I'm made of and all that kind of stuff. But I just really wanted to contribute and try to see if I could be a difference as to whether or not, somebody could come home maybe a little bit more intact and that kind of thing. But in retrospect, though, I'm no longer angry that I didn't go. I'm very much thankful that I didn't. I'm very lucky and fortunate that everything happened the way that it did. And I still managed to contribute to the Canadian Forces and the overall mission in other ways. So,
What inspired you to join the military in the first place?
being a kid with no idea what they wanted to do when they grew up, it was just a good option. I finished high school and came to a spot where I just needed to have some sort of stability. Could no longer live with my mother. I was 17 and it was like, okay, like things need to happen here. I gotta basically get out of the nest before I'm really ready. But there was an opportunity to get a full-time job within the Canadian Forces right away in North Bay. So I moved from Toronto, moved up to North Bay, and I actually ended up working in a recruiting center for a couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no like other family members that were in the military?
A couple. My sister actually ended up joining the military as well, in a different capacity. But she ended up being one of the first females to finish the tender charge naval certification.
Okay, and what's that entail?
Basically commanding a small vessel. I wish I could tell you more about it. It's not my trade. I wasn't there living it.
Right.
But she learned how to handle breaches in hulls, like how to repair that in a pinch. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a leaky boat. If you could have a barrel-sized gap going through the hull and water's pouring in, and they had to learn how to bolster that so that they can save the compartment from flooding, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of force behind that stuff. So
Yeah.
she's shorter than I am by about a head, and she was like tinier than everybody else on that course. And she was one of the first. She's the first female to have done that nationally. So it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome. You have to be very proud as a sister.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'll have to get her on with you next.
Yeah. I mean, like, meanwhile, you were driving tanks.
I was not driving a tank. I mean, I wish we had tanks in my unit. I was with the Royal Canadian Dragoons.
Oh, okay.
They're based out of Petawawa. So unfortunately, Petawawa doesn't have really the capacity to deal with track vehicles quite the same way as Gagetown or Edmonton. So we dealt with light armor vehicles, specifically Coyotes, were our main bread and butter.
Okay.
But there were some Lav 3s and eventually Lav 6s. I don't know enough about what they do now, though. I haven't really been in that world for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you'll have to pardon my ignorance of it. I'm not super up to speed with everything Canadian military. I guess we don't really do like war games or anything like that. Not to the extent that the US would do, though.
We do have some war games. Usually we'd see that kind of stuff like when we have large scale exercises in Wainwright, Alberta, for example. But there were other things that happened in Gagetown, New Brunswick. And occasionally there were operations that we get to do in, oh gosh, I'm going to mess up my terms here. The AOR, or like area of responsibility. It could be like a rural area of regular civilian public land use, basically. And like we'd let people know in advance, like, hey, you're going to be seeing military vehicles. They're going to be doing some military type movements and stuff like that. Don't be alarmed. Like, this is just a routine exercise. You will see people walking around with weapons. They are not loaded. All that kind of stuff. But it was a neat way to get to interact with the communities during that kind of stuff. But we've participated with England, or sorry, rather, I should say Britain, for the British Armed Forces in Wainwright, as well as the American forces as well, in a couple different places.
Well, thank you for your service. It's always appreciated. Taking care of all of our safety. I mean, I know you do it as a team, but not everybody has the goal to join the military. So thank you for that.
Well, it was honestly, I recommend it for just about anybody who doesn't really know what they want to do, but they're looking for some sort of stability or even just an experience where you know that you're going to be taken care of. You don't have to really worry about what's coming next in a way. Like,
It's structured.
it's very structured. It's very, we make a joke that the military is full of people with ADHD because none of us really like structure on our own, like outside of the military, but like it provides so much, like everything's all laid out for you. You got your lanes of movement, you know which direction the road is going. Your options that are given to you are limited, but there's still like enough options that you can go like, okay, I want to go down that path. They're, like, not very complicated at all. So you don't get overwhelmed by having to make decisions.
Right. It's kind of like take the thinking out of it for the most part and just tell me what to do.
Exactly. A lot of people go like, I couldn't be in the military. I can't stand like people telling me what to do. It's like, actually, it's really nice. It's really nice when people can just tell you what to do.
Takes the pressure off. Yeah.
It really does. And oh geez, I can't remember quite where I was going with that, but it's really nice to know that you have benefits. You will have your dental taken care of. You have a whole team of people that are looking out for your medical well-being. Typically, your mental well-being as well. That's improving in the Canadian Forces. There's a lot of changes that have been made in the last like 10 years, even just to put more emphasis on mental health, which is huge for so many people. It's still probably not where it needs to be, but it's getting better.
Yeah, I would imagine, especially in the anyone that has seen combat, with the post-traumatic stress and things like that. I mean, that's where mental health support can really come in handy. But I would imagine just regular day to day as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Um, it I've seen a lot of friends go through some trouble. A lot of people have gotten better. Some people have gotten not quite the help that they needed, but maybe they weren't quite so willing to change either, or to really try to remedy their situations.
Yeah, which is true. You kind of got to meet halfway. If you're you can't just expect help but put in no effort to help yourself. But if you have somebody that cares and they're willing to put in their half, just meet them halfway, and you'll probably have more success that way.
Absolutely.
So I understand you had a quite a very lengthy recovery from an injury. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in 2015, I was a few years into my service with the Royal Canadian Dragoons. I was probably in the best shape of my life at that point in time, and I had I made a decision. I was like, you know what? Like, I want to stop being the gray man. And it's really hard to be a gray man anyway when you happen to be a female in the combat arms. I won't get too far into that. It's just a whole other beast. But I was like, you know what? Like, I want to be on like the positive radar. I want to really push myself. Be. I don't want to just be in the middle of the pack. I want to start like being at the front of the pack a little bit, like for the troop runs, the platoon runs, or squadron runs, all that kind of stuff. And I just I wanted to test my mettle a little bit in other ways that didn't involve me going to Afghanistan, obviously, but um, I I really wanted to show that no, I'm a force of my own to be reckoned with in a way. So I started spending more time I started putting more effort into my own physical fitness, which went beyond just showing up for PT in the morning, because you're already pretty fit, I want to think, when you're in the military like this, because you have to do physical fitness and exercise 4 days.
Yeah, a certain kind of level of expectation.
Yeah, it's like, oh, 7:30 PT, everybody, we report, you do this. Like, maybe we're doing something like circuit training for an hour, or maybe we're going to make you do wind sprints for 7 kilometers. Like, not 7 kilometers of a sprint, that would be insane, but like, off and on. Doing hill climbing. There was a lot of emphasis on running and cardio. Not so much stuff on like weightlifting. So the most stuff we would get to do that way would be like tire flips, or kettlebell swings, sandbag tosses, or casualty drags, that kind of thing normally. So when we had the opportunity to go to a gym and have free reign and get to do whatever we wanted, kind of like freestyle PT, so to speak, everybody relished that kind of thing. But yeah, I was going to the gym after work. So I already did my PT, but I would also be going to the gym an additional 3 to 4 times a week. So I was doing weightlifting. I was doing like sumo deadlift high pulls. I was doing Romanian deadlifts. I was oh God, I don't even remember all the names of them, because they're just, they seem such a foreign concept to me now.
There's a lot of different exercises. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I hated sprinters out of everything. It was just like a body weight thing. I hated it, but it obviously worked out for me, because I was finally outperforming people in the morning PT. People were like, God, DeLong, like, what did you eat? What the hell? Like, finally, like, people were like, holy. And that felt so good. It really did. And it got to a point where I had been nominated for a basic paratroopers course. It is not something that comes up in my trade very often because nobody who drives a tank or is in a tank crew, an armored crew, needs to jump out of an airplane.
No, I can't imagine. Tanks are generally on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Like the U.S. has like all sorts of fancy stuff where they'll drop all sorts of vehicles out of airplanes, and I think to a certain extent Canada does too, but definitely not dropping like a Leopard 2 out of a plane by any means, or a Coyote for that matter. But it was a big treat to be able to be nominated for something like that because they were so rare that these opportunities came up. And I didn't even know that I had been nominated for it. Somebody just like said, "Hey, you were nominated for this?" I'm like, "Sorry, what? Pardon?" It's like, "Yeah, you were the only female in the regiment to be nominated." Like, "Oh, whoa, holy crow!" So I was really working towards trying to get my physical fitness up to that threshold so that I could meet the bar to not only just meet the expectation that I was been nominated for it, but also gain acceptance into that program. Come the physical fitness testing for it and whatnot, which I don't even know like uh, where that would have been like if I didn't injure myself, but I believe it was December 1st, 2015. We had the opportunity to do this freestyle PT that I was mentioning, and we were able to go to the recreation center for the base, and it's like, okay, guys, what do you want to do for PT? I don't care. Like, there's the weightlifting stuff. There's cardio. We even had a pool. We could go swimming realistically. But one of the favorite things for myself and my friends happened to be playing squash.
Okay.
Squash, it's like I'm glad that I was at least playing against other people
Right.
when it happened, because it's like otherwise it would be really embarrassing that you injure yourself playing literally the loneliest sport on the planet because you can play it by yourself. But I was playing squash, and I don't know if like I didn't know where I was on the court, if I was going too fast and I couldn't stop myself, or if I tripped. Like, I have no idea what happened, but I do remember that I went to rally the ball. I got the winning point, but I ended up careening into the wall, and I hit the wall with my back sort of like straight on. And I had the wind knocked out of me, and I was on the floor. I was on the court, just gasping for breath. And of course, this was all witnessed by friends. Everyone's like, "Oh, that was a big action shot." Like, everyone's laughing, all that kind of stuff. Nobody suspected a spinal injury.
No.
No. And I certainly didn't. It was just like, okay, like, oh, I went into the wall pretty hard. Okay, like, wind's knocked out of me. I'll be fine. Okay, whatever. We'll walk this off. And I couldn't quite get up off the ground. And then so after my friends were done laughing at me, they're like, "Hey, you need help off the ground here?" I'm like, yeah, I think I do. And they pulled me up, and I felt quite unsteady. And they like, "You need to like help walking back over the bleachers?" Like, yeah, I think I do. And they got me uh, sitting, and I guess like adrenaline's starting to either kick in or partially wear off as well at this point. And I was sitting on the bench, and I'm like, okay, I need to put my sweatpants on. And I tried to lift up my legs to put my pants over top of my shorts, and I couldn't lift up my legs. And I was like, oh, this is new.
So were you starting to get worried at this point?
Oh, I was, yeah, panic started to set in. Panic and then pain. Um, it was, I don't even know if that's the order that it quite happened in, but I just remember that I tried to lift up my leg. I couldn't. It was painful. and then very involuntary emotional response because I'm panicking, like, oh God, this I can't lift up my leg. What's going on here? And as I'm like kind of like I guess I like started shaking a little bit and like my eyes started welling up just out of this fear and this panic, like you can't move your leg. Um some of my buddies that were just stretching themselves out, they're watching me, they're like, Are you okay? Do you need help? What's going on?" And I told them like I can't lift up my leg. I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. And so they went to the like kind of like the reception area of the rec center, and they're like, "Hey, like we need some help here. We think something's happened. We need like an assessment or whatever." And then yeah, again, like um no one would have believed what had happened, I guess, like after the fact. But after that, I had the most painful car ride ever to our military clinic. It was still pretty early in the morning, and I I couldn't get in or out of my friend's car. Every single bump and turn, like I could feel the the G forces of just like a slight turn in a car. And it's not exactly like, it's a freaking fighter plane or anything. It's not very much force, you'd imagine, but it felt like my body was being ripped in half.
And I imagine at this point, no painkillers, nothing like that.
Not yet. Not yet. But I made it over to our military clinic, and uh oh, my medic who took me, he's like, "Okay, what happened?" And I told him, and like at this point, like I couldn't sit down or stand up. I was kind of like a half. It was like an old man. It was kind of like this. I couldn't stand up and I couldn't sit down. I was just stuck like this. And he wanted to get me up into an exam table, and it was easily like 2 feet higher than my butt could even get at that point. So he had to actually physically lift me up onto it, which I screamed. Like it hurt a lot. And he's like, "Wow, this is not right. Something's really wrong here." And unfortunately, the physician's assistant, a warrant officer, that if I ever see him on the street, if I ever recognize his name, like I'll be hard pressed not to tell him what I think about him. But he did not speak to me. He did not examine me. Did not talk to me. And my medic tried to advocate for me, saying like, "This person needs an X-ray." He was like, "No, their mechanism of injury does not meet the requirements for an X-ray. Send them home with some muscle relaxants and some ibuprofen, and send them on their way." And it was just like a big slap in the face, because it's like, okay, well, something's really wrong here.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this isn't a muscle spasm.
Probably some of the worst pain you've ever felt.
It was by far the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I've broken a few bones. I've broken both my feet on different occasions, but within the same year, I've broken a collarbone. I've broken a couple things. Luckily, nothing too crazy, but I mean, other than my back, I guess. But it turned out that I had fractures of my transverse processes on my lower back from the levels of L1 all the way to L4 on the right-hand side.
Wow.
So that wasn't discovered until like 5 days later, though, after were found like, "Oh, well, no, you don't need anything. You're just going to get some muscle relaxants, ibuprofen."
And that's
Military's answer for everything.
it's a tough feeling too when you know deep inside that like something's not right, something's wrong, and you have somebody who's supposed to be the professional tell you, "Don't worry about it, it's fine." That's mentally is difficult to process as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And there had gotten to be a point where after I went to the military clinic, but I hadn't quite found out that my back was actually broken yet. Um, I had been talking to my leadership and gone like, I'm pretty sure something is really wrong here. Um, and they're like, well, you could go to the civilian hospital, but if you go there and nothing's wrong, you could be in trouble. I was like, well, why would I be in trouble? I don't quite understand that. Like, I'm looking for more information, more like a second opinion.
Hmm.
A second opinion isn't ever supposed to get anybody in trouble, but somebody had made it sound like, no, if you go seek like a second opinion, um, that could be seen as like insubordination or like just a big like thumbing the nose kind of deal. It's like, well, somebody literally thumbed their nose at me with what was going on,
Hmm.
and everyone has the right to a second medical opinion.
Yeah, especially in Canada, of all places.
Especially in Canada. So I was basically slightly not, I don't know like if intimidated is quite the word, but like somebody had influenced me to not go, even though I really felt truly in my gut that I needed to.
And I wonder where that stems from. Is that just like, oh, you're in the military, suck it up? Is it like that sort of bravado essentially, or
I wish I could tell you. I like if I were in the military today, I really want to believe that um I want to hope that I would be a much better advocate for myself and for other troops that are finding themselves in a position where they're not feeling listened to, or they're getting the rigmarole back and forth, being forced to go in circles, because like it sucks. Uh, you're taught right off of basic training, like, okay, this is how you do military writing, for example. You learn how to write a memo, which is basically just supposed to be any letter
Mhm.
to your leadership saying like, hey, there's this thing. I'm hoping that this can happen as a result. So like maybe you want to participate in a Remembrance Day ceremony in your own town. So you can represent your unit, be present, be a military uh, an active military member, um, getting to participate within your community. And the Canadian Forces wants that kind of thing to happen because they want people to have that relationship with their own communities and get to have that
Yeah.
that improved relationship or that improved um, presence.
And I'm sure that probably helps them with enlistments and things like that. The more,
Probably.
the more public image that you have, the more people that be like, I'm going to join the military.
But like you would say like, oh, okay, I want to participate in this Remembrance Day ceremony in my own town. It's 3 hours away. Do I have permission to participate in this? Like, whatever. Like, not parade with the rest of the unit at this particular one, but I'm not part of the cenotaph. I'm not part of like a guard. I won't be missed, but I will participate in my own community. And it's like, uh, no. or or better yet, like you write that memo, but it keeps on getting stopgapped at each different level of leadership because they all have their own idea about what your memo should say or how it should be phrased.
Right.
And then it's not your writing anymore. And then it just it's a whole deal. It's like this could have been actioned a week ago, but you tied it up for a whole week because nobody liked the way that I wrote it.
Yeah.
And now I'm asking for something that's totally different because you didn't like it.
Which like, it sounds like it was a strange concept from somebody who's not been in the military, because it sounds like essentially a memo is just like the most dumbed down simplification of how you want to say something. Like removing, you're not writing a novel. It's just like exactly this.
Like
Here.
2 paragraphs usually at most. It's like, hey, I want to do this. Do I have permission? Yay or nay? And
We should just bring it back to, like high school days. Like when you're passing the note through the classroom to be like, "Do you have a crush on me?" One box says yes, the other says no. Pass it back. It should just be that simple.
if only, yeah. Um, but yeah, I wish that I would have had a little bit more um, more wherewithal to represent myself and advocate for myself a
Yeah.
little bit better, because I certainly got worked around a little bit. And after my injury, I didn't get really any time off. We were about to go into Christmas leave, but for a good 3-week period, I was I couldn't participate. I couldn't do any sort of duties really. I couldn't even drive my own car, so somebody had to pick me up at home and bring me to work. But I was on pain meds, and I was basically made to sit in a wheelie office chair
Right.
on display for the entire unit, basically, because I couldn't do anything, but they didn't want me to be at home. And then, not even a month and a half later, a colleague of mine who was in the same unit ended up hurting his back playing rugby, and he got to stay home for 2 months.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, what the hell's going on here?
Is there no like compensation board for the military, or how does that work?
There is, but it usually happens after service in a way. Like if
Okay.
Veterans Affairs is available. There are some instances where people stay in the Canadian Forces after their injuries because they've found a trade that they are employable in after retraining, all that kind of stuff. They're able to do an occupational transfer, maybe. Um, and they can still go through Veterans Affairs, I believe. So they might get some sort of compensation for injury on the job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know enough about it, but for myself, uh, my injury prevented me from meeting the universality service for a good amount of time. I don't know that I would even meet it now, but the expectation is that everybody in the Canadian Forces can dig a trench in a certain amount of time, that they can do a casualty drag, that they can do a battle fitness test, and do a 13-kilometer ruck march in, oh gosh, I don't even know how long it needs to be, like somewhere about like maybe an hour and a half. Don't quote me on that. I'm not totally 100% sure anymore what the actual requirements were or what they are now. But I could not do those things. There was the potential that one day, not any time soon from after my injury, that I might be able to find myself at 80% or maybe even 90% of where I had been before my spinal injury. But that was not going to be happening anytime soon as long as I was in the military. So I was medically released. And I do have like a medical pension as a result of that.
Okay.
I think it bridges over to like Canadian pension plan when I'm in my 50s,
Oh, okay.
maybe. Or maybe it's my 60s. See, more stuff that I don't totally remember the finding.
There's a lot, yeah, a lot of fine print and all that sort of stuff. So, kind of fast forward like just a little bit, kind of once you finally learned, what happened and what the issue was, how did that process look to you when you started, the recovery? Did you start going through physio? Did you do other things?
Yeah, so there was physiotherapy. And while I was still in the military, I'm happy that my physiotherapists were they were excellent. They were so good. That they were really surprised because when they asked me what my goals were, I had very specific goals. I'm like, I want to be able to do um, like 10 or 13 push-ups, like 13 regular push-ups again. And I want to be able to uh, do a chin-up again.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, those are at least very realistic, tangible goals. A lot of other people just say like, oh, I just want to get better, or I just want to, um, I want to get ripped, or I want to be back to where I was.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, those are very vague blanket statements. Those aren't, measurable milestones or thresholds. So the fact that I went in with those, they were quite happy with, and I did end up getting to be somewhere close to that. Just not in a very functional day to day way. But when it came time for like recovery, like there was acupuncture. Acupuncture was really nice, very helpful.
Yeah. I haven't tried that one yet.
Oh, it can be surprising. I mean, it's not maybe not for everybody, but my body responded quite well to it. In particular, I guess more traditional Chinese style acupuncture was very good for me, as well as like acupuncture with TENS, so like electro stim acupuncture. I've bent a lot of needles as well though with my muscles, so like they're super skinny needles, so if you get even a muscle twitch, they can bend really easily.
Oh, okay.
And it sounds crazy, but it's not. It doesn't.
Yeah, so I did a lot of the I call it the electroshock therapy, or like the doctor hose.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing where it like pulses your muscles.
Passive workout.
Yeah, like and like and then you're saying they do that through like acupuncture essentially as well. It's bad enough to like, jab yourself with a needle and then yeah, let's electrocute you on top of that.
I think it would be different if I could see it happening.
Right.
Like I'm very happy but not happy, I guess, that it happened to my back, because no matter what, if somebody's back there, I can't see what's happening.
Yeah.
So if it had been on my knee, like that's very easy to look at, and it would be like, oh man, like how do I not like just don't pay attention to it?
Yeah, that was my world because everything was my knee. So it's like anything they're doing there, I'm just staring down right at them and
Yeah, I'm thankful that I wasn't exactly a spot that I could turn around and just watch them do it.
yeah, unless you had a mirror.
Yeah. um, and then there was some dry needling too. Massage has been helpful as well, which I'm not very good at actually following through with on my own. I'm not very good at booking myself appointments.
Well, sometimes they take a long time to book too. So
They can. And not having a family doctor at the moment too is other obstacles, but a lot of people are in that boat.
yeah, yeah. Like I know, like myself, like because I went through like work safe compensation and all of that, and I kind of got to the point where because I walk with a limp, so it kind of throws everything off of its center. And I found that like I was starting to have like a lot of issues with like imbalance and stuff. I was very right hip heavy because obviously the left knee is still, weak and causes pain. And I had to go through my doctor just to get him to write a letter for WorkSafe for compensation and be like, I'm recommending chiropractor, because for me that helped just to kind of adjust things, realign things. I tried to go for the massage as well, but there's only so there's only so far you can push them. I was probably lucky to get approved for the chiropractor on top of doing physio and all that stuff as well. But all of these little things, whether it is physio, chiro, massage, acupuncture, all these little things can help alleviate a lot of like extra pain that you're having, and just kind of bring back some of that functionability back into your day to day.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I I had the fantasy of after injuring my back, while I was wearing like it was like a lumbar support brace. It was just a soft brace, but just enough to like help my muscles with some stability, just to take the pressure off
Yeah.
of them. Um, it it didn't really help me eat very well because it was putting a lot of pressure on my core.
Okay.
And when you're knitting bones back together and just healing from an injury, you do actually need a certain amount of extra calories, but
Yeah.
people won't really tell you that. Um,
Yeah, because your body's essentially working overtime trying to fix itself.
yeah, and unfortunately, with like the pressure that this brace was putting on me, I couldn't really eat very well.
Right.
I was finding myself to be very full very quickly or very uncomfortable very quickly because like it was doing so much work to keep everything tight and supported. Um, that in combination with that brace and depression, just associated with like the fact that I had been injured, my decreased activity level because again I was injured. Uh, I ended up losing quite a bit of weight where I was I felt like Skeletor, even
Yeah.
though I know that I wasn't, but I was still feeling quite gaunt. I was quite skinny.
Was that like mostly muscle weight?
A lot of muscle weight was lost.
I mean, yeah, when you're so active, like you said, you were pushing yourself in your training and everything like that, and kind of getting recognized for that. And then when you suddenly just go completely still, um, the muscle atrophy is a very real thing. Um, I kind of laugh at it now. Like I've always had like big guy calves, like to the point where other guys in the gym would ask me how I got such big calves, and I'm like, just be overweight most of your life and you'll have big calves. But this one shrunk down to like the size of a plum, and it was just it was just like I'm like, what is this? Where did it go? And even my quad now is still not back to where it was. I mean, I had heavy squat legs. I could squat 550, 600 pounds. And then to lose all that, um, it does make things more difficult.
It does. Like I was walking around before my injury at about 135 pounds. And so when we would watch like MMA fights, I think Ronda Rousey was really popular at that point in time. She was bantamweight. And it was like, oh, I'm bantamweight. This is cool. Like, but I dropped down to about 110 pounds or so in the course of like 3 months
Yeah.
after that injury. And
25 pounds of muscle is a lot.
yeah, I mean, then there was some fat there too, obviously, but not very much. But I remember finally getting to the point where I could take off the brace, and I was like, man, like, how cool would it be if I could like just build myself up from here, and then like a year from now, just be like a ripped like muscle mommy or
Yeah,
whatever.
just She-Hulk.
Absolute She-Hulk, and just like totally just make a really crazy cool recovery and blow down every popsicle stand for the next like 100 kilometers or something. That was a pipe dream and a half. Definitely did not happen.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that I can take little baby steps to get closer to that point. Like I'll still always have chronic pain, but you make a choice.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they get injured, and you can make that choice to succumb to it. You're already going to be in pain, so you're going to be in pain sitting on a couch and just letting life go by and watching life happen, or you can still be in chronic pain and at least live.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to hurt if I'm sitting on a couch, or I'm going to hurt if I want to go run that marathon.
Yeah.
And I would rather live, because at the end of the day, I'm still going to hurt, but
Yeah.
I'd rather hurt and live at the same time than hurt and just give up.
And that's the unfortunate reality, I think, for a lot of people that go through, serious injuries, especially with long-term recoveries. They do give up. They lean more into that victim card mentality, and like you said, they just kind of will sit on the couch and do nothing, still be in pain, but just get into that mentality of like, oh, I can't do anything anymore. and then they just live a miserable life. And that's a big goal of this podcast, is to kind of bring some awareness to that. That's why I bring on people like you, who just don't give up, because I think that is important for a lot of people to see. And hopefully, if I've done my job correctly with this podcast, that'll, even if one person is inspired, I'll consider it a success. Because that does play such an important role. You have to get rid of that victim card.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, I've since breaking my back, I've actually run a few marathons.
Mhm.
I just this year, I'm planning on competing in the 2026 strongman competition here in Cranbrook for the strong woman part of the show. I have no idea how I'm gonna do, but I don't care if I finish last. I don't care. I just want to make sure that I try.
Yeah, and that's the right attitude. I mean, that show in particular is it's a very soft spot in my heart. That's where I got my start competing in strongman. It was actually the last competition I did before I got injured too, so kind of caught it on both ends. But it's a great place to start. It is a beginner friendly. There's no weight classes, so that can be a little bit tricky for like lighter people. But my number one advice for that is just have fun. Don't take it too serious. Take the training serious and try your best. But it's a great atmosphere. It's run very, very well, local, right in Cranbrook, and I think you'll have a lot of fun. It's really great.
I'm really looking forward to it. I dread certain aspects, like
Do you know what the events are yet?
I have no idea. I don't know if they've even been released yet.
Well, there'll be a truck pull for sure. There'll be Atlas Stones for sure, and then the other three events that can be a toss up. You'll be putting something over your head at some point. A couple things like that. Maybe they'll bring back the car deadlift. That's always a fun one.
Oh, lift up a car. Oh, all right.
So, so you still kind of deal with chronic pain, things like that. How long did it take you to kind of get back to, um, a much more functional life?
Huh. Good question. I mean, I remember when things were still pretty fresh. Uh, I couldn't even like go grocery shopping. Basically, like I had to take baby steps, and I don't know why I didn't just like let myself use a shopping cart
Yeah.
for the first while. It's like if I'm shopping by myself, I'll still try to use a shopping cart as much as possible because a basket's never enough anyway, and it's very easy for it to be like, oh well, this is on sale, like put this in there, and as soon you find yourself starting to
Yeah.
lean over, and it's like, oh, this is not good. But I think it was probably it was at least a year um before I really felt like I could resume a normal, or some semblance of normal.
Yeah.
And there were still things that obviously like just weren't quite the same.
Yeah.
Still had trouble like uh, bending side to side, and I still have trouble with that. Um, but I'm like, I don't even know when I started really letting myself try to run again. Um,
And actually, I didn't even ask. Like, did this require surgery as well?
no, luckily not. And on that note, like I found out from my sports doctor at that time, like most spinal injuries, uh, people walk away from without needing any surgery. It's it's a relatively small percentage of people that require surgery. and an even smaller percentage of people that have spinal injuries that have like really just catastrophic results from because it's impacted an entire side of their body, or like the paraplegics, hemiplegics, quadriplegics that we end up hearing about. It's like, oh, like their spinal cord is just done. Like you think will never walk again. Those types of injuries are relatively um, rare, and that's not to minimize anybody who's living that life, because it does happen. Absolutely, it happens all the time. But the majority of spinal injuries, there's little old men in Hunan province in like China who have been carrying bamboo their entire lives, and they've sustained fractures from falls, or even just compression fractures from all the hard work, and they're walking with their spinal injuries to this day, even if they're all curled over like a candy cane, just about, but they're still lifting, they're still carrying things. And the truth is, most spinal injuries are these types where people are walking away with them, and maybe even making that 70, 80, 90% recovery. But I don't know if I would have been able to manage that on my own if I didn't know about physio, if I didn't consider massage or acupuncture. I'm not sure that I wouldn't be maybe somebody who would have given up and would be on that couch right now. So I'm very thankful that
having the right support could make a big difference as well.
absolutely.
So, I mean, you went through all that. You've mostly, we'll say at least 95% fully recovered. You still deal with your chronic pain. Now, if you were to, gonna go back now, let's say we got a time machine, we'll pull out the DeLorean, and we'll go back to when that first happened to you. What advice would you give yourself now, or somebody else who is dealing with the same kind of injury?
Oh, don't give up. Don't let it derail your dreams completely. um, Take the time to actually nourish yourself, feed yourself. And that doesn't just mean food, but surround yourself with good, positive people that are interested to see you get better, and support the decisions that you need to make, the changes that you need to make in order to make that happen. Feed your soul as much as you need to feed your body. Um, don't forget that if you're healing, you need to have some extra calories. You're not to the point where you need to eat like a whole extra pizza or anything, but do focus on some of the nutrition that can really assist with repairing bone, repairing muscle, and don't ignore physio. Listen to physio as much as you can, especially when you're recovering from an injury. Um, some people might want to take that with a grain of salt, I guess, because a lot of physio will just say like, just rest, just rest.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of stories about people challenging physio who will say like, oh, you'll never walk again, and then they ended up defying all odds and doing just that because they were stubborn enough not to listen, I guess.
Stubbornness can help a little bit.
It can help a little bit sometimes, but if there's anything that can be helping with your recovery, especially for like certain exercises to get core muscles back or stabilization back, don't just pay it lip service. Do it. Take care of it for yourself, because it will make a difference down the road, even if it just seems utterly useless and pointless right now. And make yourself realistic, achievable, measurable goals. Like they don't have to be giant things.
Mm-hmm.
You can start off with little stuff like, I want to be able to put the groceries away in my own fridge.
Yeah.
I want to be able to hold my niece in front of me. I want to be able to hold them and not be in pain or have to put them down in 2 seconds, that kind of thing, which are great things.
Well, Emily, I would like to thank you, first of all, for coming on. I don't know if this is something you're familiar doing or not, but it was a great conversation. So thank you for all of that. And if there's anything else that you would like to finish off with, I will give you the last opportunity and kind of give you the floor.
Oh boy. Well, thank you very much for having me. Um, I wasn't really sure what to expect, I guess. Like I kind of had an idea, but my mind kind of goes all over the place. Um, but I can say that my career and my life now, post military, post injury, I am very thankful for the experiences that I have had, even though it has not been easy. And there are days where I certainly wish that I had done things maybe a little bit differently just to save myself some trouble now. But I now work in medical imaging. I'm in the healthcare field, and when I have people that have pain, chronic pain, when they're dealing with any sort of fresh new spinal injury, I am thankful that I can be able to bring my own experience to the table and respond to it with empathy. I think I'm very lucky that I have that the special perspective, even though I would not wish it upon anybody. I'm very thankful for it.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you very much. And that's a wrap.
All right. Well, thank you so much.